Thank you. I'm Representative Schulte from District 49, and I'm presenting House Bill 222. This bill adds child care facilities to the list of authorized entities for which a physician may prescribe an epinephrine autoinjector. The bill establishes Elijah's Law and requires licensed child care providers to adopt a policy on allergy prevention and response, with priority given to addressing deadly foodborne allergies. This policy must contain elements specified in the bill and be adopted before July 1st, 2027. The Department of Elementary and Secondary Education must develop a model policy or policies on allergy prevention and response before July 1st, 2026. This bill is similar to HCS HB 2552 from 2024 and House Bill 2036 from 2023.
Good afternoon. I'm Representative Emily Weber, District 24, Midtown Downtown area of KC. And just like Representative Schulte said, he went into kind of the basics of this bill. I'll go into a little bit deeper about kind of the background for those of you who are not familiar with it. So I've met Elijah's parents, and I kind of want to give you a little brief about Elijah. Elijah was a 3-year-old boy who died in 2017 of an allergic reaction to a dairy product in New York. Elijah's parents did everything they were supposed to do to advocate for their child. So while Elijah was at the child care center, an educator served him a grilled cheese sandwich, even though they knew he was allergic and failed to give him the separate meal plan that was planned out. Since Elijah's death, his parents have advocated for child care facilities to have a plan of action in place in case a child goes into anaphylactic shock. Reasons is because after they were doing their research, they realized most states regulate allergy planning in schools, school districts, but not childhood facilities. So the goal of Elijah's Law is to increase food allergy awareness and to provide safer environments for children with food allergies in child care centers. The law aims to reduce the risk of life-threatening allergic reactions in these facilities to ensure that children with food allergies are safe. I want to add, we really would like to go further with this bill, but because we understand the financial burdens that child care facilities are already under right now, we do not require that they have EpiPens at every single facility. We just require that the specific list that's in the bill that they do at this moment. When a child, most of the kids who have an EpiPen, those parents are advocates for their children and give that to the child care facilities. So because of that, we don't require that the child care facility have them. But there are grants as well that the child care facilities can apply for. And in Kansas City, our city councilwoman, Andrea Boo, has been working the past 2 years, I believe, on making sure that they get EpiPens in the KC area child care facilities. So they've been working on that. Last session, Representative Ely and I were able to present the bill together. Representative Schulte had a separate bill hearing, and his bill moved out of the committee with all yes votes. And we also had our KC Pro Tem Raina Park Shaw come and testify last session as well in support of the bill. And with that, we can take questions.
Questions from the committee. Representative Applebaum.
To inquire.
Proceed.
Hello, lady.
Hi, how are you?
I'm really glad that you guys are bringing this bill. It's really needed. My question for you is if there are going to be required EpiPens in every child care facility, who gets trained on how to use is there training of some sort? Because, I hear EpiPen and I'm like, shots and, like what's...
Yeah, no, 100%, yes. So the training is going along with DESE. So it's kind of like the requirements what DESE has. So and like we said, not every single we're not requiring that the child care facilities have the EpiPens on site right now because of the financial burden, but they do have the trainings that they will have to go under from DESE.
Okay, thank you.
Representative Schmidt.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing this forward. It's actually something that I have always been surprised we don't already have in place. Licensing child care facilities is the bulk of my background. And so what my question is, as you're working with the department, are they going to require it of licensed facilities to have the policy written in place as part of their licensing requirement? For example, facilities are required to have a safe sleep policy in place in writing as part of their licensing. They're required to have an emergency evacuation plan in writing. And so I don't know if you've had that conversation. It's just a suggestion. I think it's valid to just also make that part of their licensing process and the licensing guideline that they have a plan in place in writing.
So and lady, thank you so much. I agree with you. And it was a very surprise to me as well when this bill came forward that we didn't require child care facilities to have this. So the whole in writing, I'm not going to say yay or nay right now. It is something that I will look into, and we would be, I believe, I don't want to speak for Representative Schulte, but I believe that we would be more than open to having those conversations and maybe doing a House committee sub where those edits are in there to make sure that it is in writing.
I would love to see you do it. I think it's a reasonable ask because some of those
100%.
other things are already required for license granting. And so I think it's a reasonable ask. Love to see you do it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a reasonable ask.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for bringing
Thank
that
you.
up.
Thank you.
Representative Haruza.
To inquire.
Proceed.
Well, thank you so much for bringing this forward. I also was not aware that this was not something that every child care facility would have. And so you mentioned that I guess all schools currently do have those kinds of programs. So this is really to fill in that gap in there. And I also appreciate, maybe it's not an inquiry, that because of the EpiPens, there's a lot of issues with costs of the EpiPens because of some of the pharmaceutical companies were taking advantage. So I do appreciate that at this point, leaving that with the parents' responsibility who do have the most interest in making sure that child is safe, I think is good.
Thank you. Representative Bosley.
Really quickly, sorry I missed the first part of this. I was trying to get a little warm. I do want to say that I appreciate you both for bringing this bill forward. As somebody who has extreme allergies, I can't even be in the elevator with somebody who's eating like a peanut butter cookie, because I will go into literally an asthma attack based on that allergic reaction. So I appreciate you guys for bringing this forward. Not only does this help the kiddos, but potentially, and I'm hoping that maybe one day we can look at how we funnel out EpiPens and what we can do to kind of reduce that cost for kids and adults, because we know that it is definitely necessary. So that's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the committee? Representative Bush.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is actually a comment.
Go ahead.
I can't imagine being a healthcare worker and having this happen in my facility and being barred from having a simple intervention like an EpiPen available to save a child's life. So kudos and thank you to you both. You are, removing that level of burden from a healthcare provider by making sure that they can have access to this is really important for those healthcare workers too.
Any other questions from the committee? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony and bringing this bill forward. We will move on to witnesses. How many do we have in support